Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the MLB slate on DraftKings for Wednesday, July the 3rd. We do have a 14-game slate for Wednesday, another big slate. We're going to start off at pitching. We're going to work our way through the player pool, start off at the top, and I'll be sure to hit on all the guys that I like today. Then we'll look at 3 hitters that I really like that I'm going to be targeting. We'll talk about some stacks that I'll be going to, and then towards the end of the video, we'll look at some BVP plays for those of you that are interested in BVP. Just before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video, and if you are new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button down below so that way you won't miss out on any of my new videos. So starting off at the top of the pitcher player pool, Chris Sale is our most expensive option today on DraftKings. He is $11,800. I do like paying up for Sale here against the Blue Jays. I think this is a very favorable spot for him. He's been really shaky against the Blue Jays this year. Really surprising. I don't know why this is, but through 2 games against the Blue Jays, he's only averaged 8 DraftKings points. He pitched against the Blue Jays on the 21st of June, and he went 5 innings, allowed 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 runs, gave up a homer, got 8 strikeouts, 15 DraftKings points in his last start against the Blue Jays. In his last start against the Blue Jays, then in his last start against the White Sox, he did get 10 strikeouts in that matchup against the Sox, but did allow 6 hits and 5 runs, did give up a home run, pitched 6 innings. Sale has definitely been much better lately than he has been to begin the year. There was a stretch at the beginning of the year where he was just getting rocked start after start. Now he's been a lot better. Last 2 starts have been a little shaky, but I still think Chris Sale is one of the best pitchers in the league. Has just a ton of strikeout upside. Can get you double-digit Ks pretty much every time he steps on the mound. And I just don't think there's any other pitchers on this slate that have the upside that Chris Sale has. I know we've seen Walker Buehler go for big games this year, like against the Rockies at home. That start, he went 9 innings, complete game with 16 strikeouts, 53 DraftKings points. Walker Buehler does have a lot of K upside, 9 Ks against San Francisco, against Arizona when he faced them on June 30, went 11 Ks, 40 DraftKings points. I still don't really want to play Walker Buehler at 10-9 when I can just get Chris Sale for 900 more, who I think is just a way better pitcher. I don't think any of the other pitchers on this slate could give you 30, 35 DraftKings points or even project for that high like Chris Sale does. Like if Sale went out and put up 30 DK points here, I wouldn't be surprised at all. If Walker Buehler put up 30 DK points, that would be a bit surprising. So I think Sale's the top guy by far. There's a really cheap option I like at SP2 that allow me to pay up for Chris Sale and still get some expensive bats in that I like. So I'll be going to Sale quite a bit today. Don't have much interest in Buehler. He's just too closely priced to Sale. Just would rather play Sale. Domingo Herman against the Mets, I think I have a little bit of interest in. We just need to have some clarity on his pitch count. He hasn't pitched in almost a month. Last time he pitched was on June the 7th. He went 92 pitches in that start against Cleveland, 13 DraftKings points. Like I said, hasn't pitched in a month. He did go on the IL, but he's expected to join the rotation here and make a start against the Mets. And I think he does have some upside against a Mets team that does have strikeouts in its lineup. They will be rolling out plenty of righties. Right now, their projected lineup has 4 righties in it, and then you have the pitcher at the bottom. The lefties are a bit scary. Jeff McNeil's been really good this year, doesn't really strike out much. Robinson Cano, I'm not afraid of. Definitely an easy out there. Michael Conforto's a really good hitter. Dominic Smith has power, but he will strike out a lot. So I think Herman's in a pretty good spot. He's still not going to be a priority for me because Chris Sale's the guy that I really want to get to. But if I get some Domingo Herman, if he comes in like maybe 10, 20% of my lineups and he's going to be really low owned, then I'm okay with that. Mike Clevenger's the next guy that I want to talk about against the Royals. I think Mike Clevenger definitely in play here. Very close between him and Herman for me. If Herman winds up being limited, then I'll just easily pivot to Clevenger. Like if we get news that Herman's only going to throw like 70, 80 pitches, that's an easy pivot for me to go $400 down and get Mike Clevenger against the Royals. Clevenger's been shaky lately. He had 2 really good starts before he went on the IL. Then he came back against Texas and wasn't that great in Texas. And then his last start against the Orioles just got absolutely rocked, giving up 7 runs, didn't even make it through 2 innings. I would expect Clevenger to bounce back here against this Royals team. It's just a really bad lineup, just a ton of easy outs in this lineup. At the top, it's a bit scary with Merrifield and Mondesi. Alex Gordon's a pretty decent hitter, but once you get past those guys, there's a lot of easy outs, especially like the 6 through 9. plenty of strikeouts at the bottom of the lineup as well. So I think Clevenger does give you some upside at 9,700. But again, like I said, Chris Sale is a top priority for me. So guys like Herman, Clevenger are gonna be more of secondary plays. We don't have a confirmed starter yet for the Rays, but if it is going to be Yanni Chirinos, 8,900 pitching at home against the Orioles, Yanni Chirinos is definitely in play as a SP2 option. Or if you're not trying to pay up to the top as a SP1 option, then I definitely like him against the Orioles. Really favorable matchup. A lot of strikeouts in that Orioles lineup. Chirinos is a really good play today if he does wind up being the pitcher for the Rays. But I do want to talk about some of these cheap values that we have. So once you get past those mid-tier plays, there's not a lot that I love at the top. In the mid-range, there's not much that I like. Not really going to be going to the mid-range today. Once you get past Yanni Chirinos, there's not really a ton of plays that really catch my eye that I feel like I have to have. So I'm either going to be going to the top to guys like Sale, Herman, Clevenger, Chirinos, or I'm going to be going down to some of these value plays. A couple of guys I want to talk about. Sean Anderson, 6,800 against the Padres. I think is a pretty fine value play here. The Padres are one of the heaviest strikeout teams versus right-handed pitching. 4.6 implied run total, a little bit higher than I would like, but still just a lot of K upside for Anderson here. He's not a guy that has like a ton of strikeout stuff. I think his best start this year when it comes to strikeouts was against the Padres. He went 6 innings and got 6 Ks, 21 DraftKings points. So he has faced the Padres once this year, pitched against them at home and did pretty well. Wouldn't be surprised if he has another pretty good start here. So as a value, 6,800, you can definitely consider Sean Anderson as a cheap play. But the guy that I want to talk about is Cal Quantrill. He's only 5K. He's the cheapest available pitcher on today's slate. It looks like he is going to be pitching for the Padres today against the Giants. Right now, Fantasy Labs has it as Eric Lauer, but from what I'm seeing, MLB.com had it as Quantrill. So I think Quantrill is going to be the starter here, and if he is at 5K at a cheap price tag like this against a very bad Giants team, I really have a lot of interest in Cal Quantrill. He is fully stretched out as well, which is something we do like to see. Usually these very cheap pitchers are just going to be like openers, but Quantrill has been a starter this year. He did start on June the 14th against the Rockies in Coors Field and threw 93 pitches in that start. So I expect him to go 80, 90 pitches. If he's pitching well, he could give you a pretty good score at his very cheap price tag of 5K. There's really no risk when you roster a pitcher this cheap. Even if he gets like 7, 8 DraftKings points at 5K, that's not going to kill you. If he goes out there and goes 6 innings with 5, 6 Ks and gets like 15, 20 DraftKings points, he's going to be a great value at 5K. And against a very bad Giants team in a National League park, in a pitchers-friendly park, I think Cal Quantrill just gives you so much upside at this very cheap price tag. I could easily see him going for 20 DraftKings points, and if he does that at 5K, then you're going to be pretty happy with the score at that price tag. Quantrill's definitely not a good pitcher, but the Giants aren't a good offense. I could easily see Quantrill just getting a lot of ground balls here, getting a lot of pop flies, just kind of getting some easy outs and just getting you a score that you're happy with. Obviously, Quantrill's not going to go out there and get 6 innings, 10 Ks. He just doesn't have that kind of upside, but could easily see him going 5, 6 innings with maybe 4 or 5 Ks against a very bad Giants team. So I love him today as a cheap SP2 on DK at 5K. But these are the two pitchers I feel like I'm going to be rolling with the most, the combo that I like the most. Now let's talk about some hitters. I do want to talk about this Coors game again. The Coors game on Tuesday night was a game that I loaded up on quite a bit. Going to be going right back to it here. Right now we have a 7.2 implied run total for the Astros versus Peter Lambert and a 6.4 implied run total for the Rockies versus Wade Miley. I really like some of the righties from the Rockies. Trevor Story at 4,500 just really stands out. I don't know how he's this cheap. I know he just came back from injury, so maybe that's one of the reasons he's so cheap, but he just feels like a lock and load play at 4,500, especially versus a lefty in Coors. Wade Miley has definitely improved this year. He's been a lot better of a pitcher, but this is such a tough spot for Wade Miley, having to go into Coors Field to face the Rockies team that has just a ton of righties that can hit lefties well, specifically Story, Arenado, and Desmond. And then the lefties aren't easy outs either. Charlie Blackmon's a really good hitter. David Dahl's a really good hitter. Daniel Murphy's a really good hitter. You get some easy outs at the bottom with Ryan McMahon, Tony Walters, and the pitcher, but the 1 through 6 is going to be pretty tough for Wade Miley. Love Trevor Story at only 4,500. He should not be this cheap. Facing a lefty in Coors, he should be one of the most expensive shortstops, if not the most expensive shortstop. So, love Story, going to be a guy that I go to a ton. Then on the Astros side, there's some clear plays here. Jose Altuve is still dirt cheap at 4,600. Still way too cheap in my opinion. He should definitely be over 5K, especially in Coors Field, especially since the Rockies are going to be rolling out Peter Lambert, who has not been very good lately, and the Astros do have a 7.2 implied run total. They're going to be the stack you want to get to the most. Love Altuve at 4,600. Just such a good hitter, a lot of power, a lot of speed. Facing a pitcher in Peter Lambert, who, like I said, has really struggled. We'll pull up the game logs real quickly. This is his last few starts. His last start against the Dodgers gave up 4 home runs, 5 runs in that start. He's given up a home run in almost every start lately. DraftKings point game log looks ugly. Negative .9 against the Dodgers, negative 8 against San Diego. 2 DraftKings points against the Dodgers. Against the Cubs, he's faced the Cubs twice this year. 32 DK points, 15 DK points. But other than those 2 starts, just his last 3 starts, he's really struggled. And now he has to face this really good Astros team in Coors Field. I don't see Peter Lambert doing very well here. This is definitely a spot where I want to load up on the Astros. So love going to Altuve, especially because he just feels way underpriced. Also, Alex Bregman, I think, is a top play at third base. On DraftKings, I love that you can play Bregman at third base because then that allows you to play Trevor Story at shortstop, so you can get both of those guys into your lineup. Since I do like the Astros so much, I'm obviously going to be stacking them up quite a bit. Springer I love, Altuve I obviously really like, Bregman at 5,400 I love, Michael Brantley under 5K feels like a really good play. Then you got some value with Gurriel, Josh Reddick, Tyler White, dirt cheap. Just think this Astros stack has so much upside. So many good hitters at the top of the lineup that have power, that have speed. Altuve and Bregman are 2 of my favorite plays from the Astros today. Definitely a stack that I'm going to be loading up on. But that is it for my 5 plays for DraftKings today, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about some stacks now real quick. Then we'll look at BVP before we end the video. So this Coors game is the game that I'm going to be going to the most, especially because I like Cal Quantrill so much and he's so cheap. That's going to allow me to pay up for these Coors bats. So the Astros are my number 1 stack. The Rockies are right behind them, my number 2 stack. But then some of the other spots that we could potentially consider, I think the Cardinals with a 5.1 implied run total versus Mike Leake give you a ton of upside at their cheap prices. Every hitter in the lineup is under 4K. Most expensive hitter is Paul DeJong at 3,800. Mike Leake, really not that good of a pitcher. I do like playing some Cardinals. Like if you want to stack Coors and then go to some Cardinals bats as maybe like a 2-man or 3-man stack, I feel like that makes a ton of sense. Jose Martinez has power and he's only 3,300. Paul Goldschmidt's only 3,500. Paul DeJong 3,800. Tyler O'Neill has power and he's 3,600. Really good value plays from the Cardinals team. That's one of my favorite cheap stacks today. But then looking at some of the other teams that we could potentially consider, Braves have a really high total against Nick Pivetta. Don't know if I'll be there, though. I think there's other teams I'd rather spend up for, like the Coors game. The Yankees versus Jason Vargas, I think, make a lot of sense. Judge under 5K, Gary Sanchez under 5K, Encarnacion at 4,300, Torres at 4,600. Those are just some plays that really stand out. Even though DJ LeMahieu is very expensive, he's pretty much been worth this price tag. He has like the best game log right now. I'll just pull up DJ LeMahieu's game log real quick just to show you guys. If you guys haven't seen it, it's pretty crazy. 21, 28, 21, 22, 18, 31, 11, 18, 21, 12. Literally every game in his last 10 games over 10 DraftKings points. Been one of the best hitters in the league, one of the most consistent hitters in the league. Hitting for power, hitting for contact, just putting the ball in play. If you're stacking the Yankees, do not leave DJ LeMahieu out of your stacks. The guy is worth the $5,200 price tag, especially versus Jason Vargas. But I think that's probably it for stacks today, guys. Oh yeah, don't want to forget the Red Sox versus Sean Reed Foley. The Red Sox are actually pretty favorably priced. Mookie 4,400, JD 4,400, Benintendi 4K. The Red Sox are actually pretty nicely priced. Every hitter under 5K, 5.7 implied run total. You could definitely look there. But let's go ahead and talk about some BVP now real quick before we end the video. So just going to hit on a couple BVP plays. Randall Grichuk, 6 for 12 with 2 home runs off of Chris Sale. Joey Votto, 8 for 25, 2 home runs off Chassin. Yasiel Puig, 11 for 29 with 2 home runs. Edwin Encarnacion, 8 for 32, 2 home runs off of Jason Vargas. And then lastly, down here at the bottom, Lindor gone 6 for 17, 2 home runs off Danny Duffy, and Dexter Fowler 7 for 25, 2 home runs off of Mike Leake. So those are just a couple BVP plays that I got for today, guys. I think that is it for this video. Hopefully you did enjoy this video, and hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed, make sure you click that like button down below, and make sure you subscribe if you have not already. And if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, or like always, you can hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT if you do have any questions. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the next one. Good luck tonight. Peace.